Here on the Cleveland River with my dad. It's February 2nd. It's very cold out. We've been fishing a few hours. Basically no action. We hiked in pretty far to this spot. And there was someone fishing here, so we went downriver. And didn't really get any action. And then on the way back, this spot was open. And this is the fourth fish. Yeah. This is the fourth fish in 4 casts in a row, I think. I think it's 4 casts in a row. I gotta give you this rod, Dad. You gotta come stand here and get the rod, take my rod. So you can, they're here. So this is, that was Dad saying he doesn't mind not catching fish, which is true. This is a better fish. Forgive the focus here. Yep, snow blowing. And it's quite cold. The water's cold, so we want to bring the fish in quickly, quicker than normal. Don't wear them out too much. He's not ready to come in yet, though. But yeah, we were about to go past this spot. I waded across the river and thought I had a couple bites, was pretty sure in fact, and then it was the same fly I'd been using all day, and I had hooked bottom a few times, so I think the hook just wasn't sharp enough. And switched flies, came to this side, and 4 fish in the last 4 casts. What was that, Dad? Yeah, nice one. And he's ready to go back. There he goes. So that was about a 13, maybe. 13-inch. I'm just gonna go back to the same spot. You can see why they're there. There's deep water and it's cold. So the deeper water is actually gonna be a little bit warmer than the fast moving water. There's deep water next to fast water. So that fast water is bringing the food, and you can see pretty clearly defined this foam line right here. That foam line is indicative of the main current and where the food is coming. And there's a nice deep spot here where they can basically rest and then jump out and intercept food. And there's also, if you can see these logs right here, that's cover. So that means if there's a predator nearby, they can get to safety. Ooh. But it was fun because it had been a pretty quiet day. It's still a fun day. But it's always nice when you get to find some fish also. You know, ooh. And I did switch flies to a heavier tungsten bead. It's called the Lively Legs Rub Bub Grub. And it's one of my confidence flies for good reason. I catch fish consistently with that fly no matter where I go. The one I had on earlier was the one I had on earlier was a Lively Legs Double Trouble, which is essentially a stonefly nymph. And that one I was fishing most of the day, but like I said, I'd hooked moss in the bottom a few times, and I just thought that my hook wasn't sharp enough. So I tied this one on and immediately started getting into them. So I'm just casting upstream, letting my fly get deep, watching for my sighter if it gets tight or slows down or hesitates. Just a quick little downstream pull sets the hook. And this is the longest I've gone without catching a fish since we moved to this spot here. When I'm Euro-Nymphing like this, I like to fish with my feet, so I rarely will do the same exact cast twice. Oh, there we go. Another one. This is number 5. I think it's 2 on this video, and this one's decent. He's trying to, when you have the fish hooked, they let you know where the safety zone is, meaning he tried to go right toward those logs, which makes sense. I'm going to try to keep him away from those. And same thing, not trying to fight him too long here, just keep the pressure on. Get him to the net very quickly. for a quick release. This is a nice fish. It's a nice one. It's got blue fins. So I'm just keeping side pressure. He's trying to go deep into the main. I'm just keeping him. Yeah, it's a big one. Pretty big one. So I try to keep him in the water here, release the pressure. Using barbless hook, so it's gonna pop right out. Keep them in the water here, and their mouths are so little. Hooks out. There it goes. Well, this has turned into be quite the spot, quite the day. I think in slightly warmer water there would be trout here also, but I understand why they're here. This is the deep spot, which is going to be a little warmer. It's next to faster water. So anytime you've got transition in speed or transition in depth, those are good places to fish. And the bonus here is there's cover nearby, so that means it could hold a big fish. And we'll see how well my cider comes through in the video here, but I'm just looking for that. What'd you say, Dad? What was that, Dad? I think you might be right about that. I'm just watching for that cider to get tight or hesitate, and that probably means that fish intercepted it. So as I was saying earlier, I like to fish with my feet, so I will rarely do the same exact cast 2 times. Ooh, that was a fish. I'm just casting upstream, letting my nymphs get down, gently leading the fly. When I say leading, I just mean to have my rod tip downstream of the fly, so that the hook's set. They basically set themselves on the fly when they take it. And then I'm going to throw it to a slightly different spot. Take a step. Ooh. It's amazing how much taking that one little step or doing something different can so often be the difference. You know, you can take a step out, you can take a step up. It's been rather windy this last little bit here, which isn't the best, but what do you do? So I'm in the slow water here. I probably want to get my cast a little more to the faster water. Ooh, yep. Yep. All right, this is another nice one. So again, I was just making those little adjustments. Just casting slightly different spot, moving my feet just a little bit, trying to just give them something a little different. And the fish will tell you if you're doing it right. Clearly earlier in the day I was not doing it right, but I seem to have figured it out. There's an underwater log here I'm just trying to avoid here. Another nice white fish. I think this is 5 or 6 in a row. What was that? Yeah, that is about 10. Oh, ready to get back in the water. Here we go. Wow. Well, this has been quite the productive spot. So, again, let's break this down. There's slow water and deep water right here. There's faster water right here. That foam line is indicative of where most of the food is going to be. So the fish are here on a very cold day, because this deeper water is going to be a little warmer. They want that water to be just a little bit warmer because it's quite cold out. They want to be next to the fast water because that's where the food is going to be. So they want to be somewhere where they can get the most food for the least energy while being safe at the same time. This spot ticks all these boxes. We've been at the river for a few hours, found some okay spots, but nothing quite like this. The moment we came here, we started getting some action. The other thing is there is cover nearby, you know, because fish are both predator and prey, so they want to be somewhere where they feel safe or somewhere where they can get to safety with, you know, in short order if need be. And this is interesting because I've had a bunch of different flies. Well, not a bunch. I've had about 4 different flies on today. This has been the one. Oh, that's another one. Another one. Yeah, this one's smaller. And Dad's a great sport. Always just game to come out for the adventure. We'd never been to this spot before. And he's just game for whatever. We were getting ready to leave and I saw this spot. He let me come down and make a few casts and had what felt like a pretty nice one on, lost it, and that's what led to all this, because it's different fishing with confidence when you believe that there are fish there versus when you don't. This one looks like it's got a little chunk out of his back. Interesting. Let's take a look here. Oh, there he goes. Okay. That one had a little bite out of his back. Yeah, maybe from that. We saw some, like a mink or an otter or something. Anyway, this has been a lot of fun. It's maybe, I don't know what that is, 4 fish since I turned the video on. And I'm just making this cast into the upstream, letting my nymph get down deep, using my sighter to let me know what's going on under the water there. And even though we've caught maybe half a dozen fish out of this spot, they don't really seem to mind that I'm here or know that I'm here. And again, I'm just going to do something a little bit different with each of my casts. And use my sighter to let me know if anything happens down under the water. And I'm just going to keep doing something a little bit different. Take a step. Or that might have been one. Yep. Oh, yep. I think that was one. It's amazing how fast a fish can take something in and then eject it. It's one of the reasons why it's important to have to be in contact with your fly, meaning ever so slight sag in your line, and then have your rod tip downstream of your flies. I think on that one I was a little not quite tight enough to it. So I'm going to keep making a little adjustment here. Yep. So just keep making those little adjustments. Oh, that was a nice one. So on that one, I think I pulled it right out of his mouth. Typically when I'm setting the hook, I like to keep the side pressure on him. And that one, I just pulled it right upstream and got a little excited, but sometimes that happens. But as you can see, that one, I just made a little adjustment there, and then all of a sudden, fish on. So move your feet, try different stuff. Change flies. You know, if you're not getting a deep enough drift, put a heavier fly on. If you're snagging bottom every time, put a lighter one on. I was fishing 2 flies earlier and this didn't seem to be working, so I cut one off, and then I changed flies to just a single rub bub grub, and that has been working. Yeah, that was a nice one. Would have been nice to get that one. That's probably a bit in slow water. I need to recast that one. Yeah, let's recast that one. Oh, there's something on it. Might explain it. And so this is all just one take here, as you can see. No fancy production stuff going on here. Just got my phone on my chest mount here. And just trying to share a few little tips and bring you along on one of the adventures fishing with my dad. It's actually Super Bowl Sunday, but I would rather do this 1,000 times out of 1,000. Ooh. Let's see if we can get one more here. Ooh, yeah, if I'm ready for it, we could. So this next one, I'm going to move my feet a little bit. Even if you get a bite, it's good to do something slightly different next cast, in my opinion. Take a step. Shorten up the cast, maybe extend the cast, something. Fish! So I'm going to keep the side pressure on. It's a whitefish day. Beautiful though, they got those blue fins. Just keep the pressure on. Again, not fighting them for long, just because it's very cold out and I don't want to stress them out too much. Oh, there he goes, quick release. Well, we got to see that one. Another one. Well, I think I'll stop the video now. I'm gonna keep fishing, but it's been a lot of fun, and what a difference this last 20 minutes has made. When you find that spot, you get in the right position, get the right fly. I started off on this other side here and hooked into a couple, but like I said, I think my hook was a little dull by that point. So I just took a few minute break, walked to the other side, told Dad that this spot was worth spending a few more minutes, and it's been a lot of fun. So thank you all. Appreciate you.